Welcome, Darshani. Please start.
Thank you. So, good evening, everyone. And before I begin, a very advanced Happy New Year, whoever is watching live with me or who's watching this later. So, today we are going to deal with a topic which is called the art and science of creating first impression. I know a new year, a new start, you know, often we often think, how can we give our even in the second or the third meeting or the second or the third situation when we face, and we think we could have given a much more better output, or we could have given in a much more better, in a better format, isn't it? Many a times we must have thought, oh my god, we could have done this even more in a better way. So let's learn the science behind how we can, create that kind of a first and lasting impression in people's mind. As someone rightly said, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So let's see what are the pitfalls, what are the different verticals or the areas which we'll have to focus when creating an first impression. Just a disclaimer, this is a template which I've used in the Microsoft PowerPoint, so that is why it is like this. So excuse me on that front. What if I told you that you have only 7 seconds is all you have to make a lasting impression? It's only 5 to 7 seconds what you get to create that first impression, not more than that. You must have encountered the situations where when you have a situation where you get to introduce yourself, or where you get to talk about what you do, which we call it as elevator pitch. The hardly couple of seconds when when you're standing in an elevator where people have to remember you, the person whom you've spoken with. All these small things matters, isn't it? Even the kind of presentation we give to people, especially within this training field, the kind of conversations which we have on a regular basis, or the conversations which we have at our workplace, all these things matter. But the first impression starts the moment you the moment you enter into something, or the moment you see someone. But that first impression gets just created just within seconds, the moment you go stand in front of an individual. And rightly said, how is first impression being formed, or how is it? See, when you go stand in front of a person, the first aspect is their physical appearance, which gives you that kind of a first and lasting impression, isn't it? The way they have groomed themselves, the tonality what they use, the words what they use. But majorly it comes to your non-verbal communication, which is your grooming, your posture, your gestures, your hand movements, your head movements. All these things matters, and mainly eye contact, which matters more than anything else. And this is a study based upon this personality, or this master whom I call. His name is Albert Mehrabian. I'm not going deep into it. According to a study, it states that 55% is your non-verbal, meaning your gestures, your body posture. This is what talks more. And 38% is your tonality, the way you talk, the way you communicate. And 7% is the words that study shows. It's just 7% to what people believe, with the words you talk. So let's understand on a superficial level as to why first impression matters, or how first impression is formed, and how the impact of first impression is being created in your personal as well as your professional life, or in a professional setting as it is. As I said, earlier, that study shows it just takes 7 to 10 seconds, or rather 5 to 7 seconds, to create that first impression. And majority the communication is involved with your non-verbal communication, which includes your body language, your tone, your appearance, and all your non-verbal set of communication, which creates that first impression. I think in many places or in many occasions, many tell we'll have to create that visibility. Along with that, you need to start creating your credibility in whatever segment you are. And there are some psychological factors which affects your first impression. To name a few, when we say physical appearance, it can be your facial expressions, your clothing, your grooming. As in one of the sessions where I was handling, when I was talking about image consulting, where we spoke about the professional style scale and how each grooming or how your each style gives a what kind of a message. That also matters. And as I said, your eye contact, the tone of voice, or in what environment you are in. Are you in a professional setting, or are you in a personal setting, or are you in a social setting? We need to understand in what kind of interactions we are being put on, or in what kind of situation we are having those kind of interactions with people. Depending on that, your first impression is being created. But majorly it is on your professional front, or in your business, or in your career front, is where it this matters more, wherever I have seen. And these are the things which I already mentioned. The role of your grooming, or the role of your dress, the outfits what you wear is a signal to the other person to show your confidence. What you do, sometimes you must have encountered this kind of situation where with the way you've groomed yourself, people come and ask you, what do you do? Are you in an artistic field, or what is that you do? So all these things matter. Along with your appearance and your non-verbal communication, the next aspect is your handshakes. Many a times we must have all felt, the handshake which I had given was not powerful enough, or which was not confident enough. Many a times we must have uh, faced that kind of situations, isn't it? Many a times, when many a times, okay, that handshake was not enough. Say, for example, if you keep your hands like this you can practice it with yourself. The firmness, the way you hold the firm, the strength, or the pressure which you apply, do you yourself feel that confidence in you? And if you have a sweaty palm, or if you have issues like those, that has to be sorted out with something else. Say, maybe, if you feel that there is a possibility of giving a handshake, maybe you can use a towel, wipe it off, wipe the sweat off. Maybe use a talc powder or some powder which will help you to, remove the sweat inside your palms. Because even a small handshake also gives an impact on your confidence. It gives a major impact on your confidence. And when it comes to verbal communication, the words which we use, or the tone which we use, all these things also matters when we are uh, when we are communicating with someone. Say, if you're aware about what you're going to have a conversation about, or if you're confident of, or if you know what you're going to communicate upon on particular topic, it'll be easier for you to it'll be easier for you to communicate confidently. The moment you're not aware, okay, I don't know what I'm going to talk. If you go in that kind of a mindset, if you go like that, then your confidence level easily drops. this happens. So depending upon your context, depending upon your situation, understanding these things, accordingly we need to start building our confidence as to, you know, are we going in, are we going to do a public speaking event, or are we going to be on the stage with someone, or are you going to be between the audience crowd, or are you complimenting someone? So we need to understand this situation or prepare ourselves to what we are heading for, so that people or your environment knows that you are genuinely showing interest and engaging actively with the person and in the environment wherever you are in. And you should be aware in what kind of a body language are you projecting to people. That also you should be very aware. And this does not happen in a day, it happens with a lot of conscious practice. Because right now what has happened is we're all in an autopilot mode. We don't even think, okay, this is what we'll have to do. We don't even think, but we just start acting. Do we think that we need to brush our teeth? Do we think that we need to make breakfast or eat breakfast? No, right? We don't think these things, we just do, just because we have been trained to do. So and you shouldn't fake yourself just to be, to get along with the group. You need to just be yourself, but be the best version of yourself, having a pleasant smile. You should know when to use empathy, when to use sympathy, and the kind of experience you give to the other people. Many a times this happens that if you had a bad experience of, going out to or how to a hotel to have a dinner or a lunch. If you have a bad experience, you might not even go there, because the first time you had a bad experience. Now you will not go back. Do we go back? We don't. That's how it is. So the kind of, experience whom you give, or the experience whom you share the, feeling with, all these things matters. This particular session, you can think it from your professional front or your career front, or you can think it from your personal front. That I'm leaving it to you, whoever has joined with me right now, and whoever is going to listen to this later, that you can take a call and think about it. If you have any further questions, you can post it down below, where I'll be happy to answer those questions if needed. So this is the, basic framework of how you can create this positive first and lasting impression in people's mind. And this especially you'll have to be careful in the beginning of your career stage, especially in your professional front. You will have to be very careful as to what kind of impression, whom do you want to give it to. Even if you ask, even if I ask Shabna ma'am to share her experience, she'll also say the same thing. Initially, setting up something, setting a brand, what kind of, impression you want to give to people, or what kind of a story, or what kind of an impression Maven Learning for All has to create, or what is that she's planning to give out to the society. Basically, this is a platform where anyone can come, anyone can learn, anyone can share their experience, as long as you know what you're doing. And first impression also comes with the, it's not just your IQ, it's also your EQ. And how does your role of emotional intelligence plays in creating or forming your first impression? It comes in 4 stages, and this is one of the model which Daniel Goleman uses, or it is his, somewhere it is closely related to his model also. It has 4 segments. One is your self-awareness, how you self-regulate your habits and your emotions or your behaviors. How do you connect with people or gauge with people with empathy or their reactions, and how do you use your social skills? So So coming to self-awareness, more than how other people perceive you, how do you perceive yourself? Understanding how you are being perceived. So all these things matters, but self-awareness does not begins with others, it begins with yourself. But you need to understand where do you stand and where do you want to go. I'm saying on an emotional front, and the meaning which we give to ourselves. Sometimes, we pile up a lot of our emotions and burst in one situation. But we'll not blame ourselves then, but we blame the other person. But you might have piled up your emotions. So self-awareness is the base or is the foundation to any successful journey. And how do you, then comes your self-regulation. How do you regulate your negative emotions, especially fear, anxiety, anger, and what kind of habits and what kind of behaviors you project in these negative emotions is one is the that also you should be aware of as to what you're doing during particular. It's not just about positive, it's also about negative. I'm not saying that you should get attached to these things, but you need to have a self-awareness as to where you stand and how can you connect yourself with empathy. Not getting attached with the other person emotion depends on situation also. And how do you create rapport with the people around you through your language, through your conversation, through your non-verbal communication, your social skills, or your networking skills, in the other words. So, emotional intelligence does not come with, dumping your emotions on one side, but acting upon it in a timely manner. I hope Shabna ma'am, even Rajvin was joined in right now, will agree to me with this. Understanding, and you shouldn't be dumping it as just like a, garbage, but understanding
Sometimes,
and
sometimes you see
yes,
all the,
Rajvin.
sometimes um, our body language tells us a lot of things. Sometimes we don't need to speak.
Exactly. So there are a lot of things which has to be taken care of. I'm not saying all these things will change overnight. It will change, but you need to initially make that conscious effort in changing. And that's for many, that is the most irritating part for many of the individuals right now. Pitfalls, overthinking. Sometimes we go too prepared and we spoil it. You just need that basic preparation, but not over preparation. But we need to see, do our emotions drive us to do better, or does it create pitfalls? And you should be aware about your body language. Are you sitting with your legs crossed, or are you sitting with your arms crossed, or does eye contact, do you lack in eye contact, or are you slouching down? So you should be very careful as to how you sit, how you stand. Do you have an open body language or do you have a closed body language? And being very distracted, are you fidgeting with something, or are you playing on your phone, or glancing, are you just staring at the clock which is hanging around, or looking around when people are making conversation with you, or are you trying to trying to be overly into that situation, being trying to not being true or trying to being fake. All these small things creates a greater impact in your process of creating first impression. As I said earlier, it can be in different contexts. This can matter, but it depends on in what context you want to consider this topic as, because this particular topic can be spoken in a professional setting, it can be spoken in a social and a personal setting, or it can even talk about the cultural differences as to how it can impact on creating first impression, because we need to be aware of the cultural norms also and the expectations. So you need to keep all those things in mind when you are, you know, into such situations where you're going to create a first and lasting impression. And these are a couple of practices what you can do before going somewhere. Practicing yourself with your introduction, analyzing your body language, smiling, standing in front of the mirror, eye contact, power poses, say standing tall. Maybe you take up any favorite of your Marvel superhero characters or something, or practicing with people at home. All these things also, give a greater impact. And there's a small video which I don't know, many you must have seen somewhere, or you must have seen this, where the video depicts of how just with the appearance, how that small girl is things getting changed. When she's well groomed, people treat her in a different way. When she's shabbily groomed, people treat her in a different way. It was a social experiment which was done by UNICEF. If you find that video, I'll post it under this link, or I will share it later in a different session altogether. So, any questions?
Thank you, Darshini. It was really wonderful. And we would like to see that video. If you can post that in the group, it would be wonderful.
Yes, yes.
And if you can share.
Should I share it here right now?
Yeah, you can. You can. That would be
One
good.
second. Just give me a minute so that I can share it.
You can also show it like by sharing screen.
Thank you for a good session, Dharshani.
Thank you. I know New Year is coming in, so why not create this kind of session for?
Rajban is making a very different kind of. It's not a first impression, but it's a very sparkling impression with this band she's wearing.
No, my elder caregiver, the one my primary caregiver, Mary, she
Video.
bought me a New Year gift. Yeah.
One second, I'm just sharing the video.
So that's why.
I think this video did not need any more explanation. I think it has explained you what I was trying to tell you. This is a video which I was talking about. This is how physical appearance create that kind of first and lasting impression in people's mind. So this is how it is. Yes, Rajbin, any questions from you?
So this is a PR subject. They said first impression is always the best impression. So wherever I go nowadays, as laughter therapist, last time I used to uh, be able to create the lasting impression in public. Now I create the lasting impression all the time. It means I'm happy all the time. Whether I'm sad inside or whatever. Laughter yoga has made me create the best impression. And I am learning to accept myself, and I'm learning to learn from mistakes and take the step back, when I needed it. When I feel tension, my body on my neck area, it gives me a signal. It automatically pains. These 2 days it automatically pains. Maybe I might need hypnosis three 3 weeks time or whatsoever. But it will take it. It has been a good year, and thank you, Mavin, for giving me a good year. Thank you, Dashni, for this session. Thank you, Dashni, for teaching me how to dress up in public and to carry up myself. Actually, carrying in yourself means if you can carry yourself well, you are at peace inside. So I am learning to carry out myself very well in front of public. That is why not only in front of public but in the Zoom itself. So it has made a lot of difference. So you're right, Dashni. Maven is a learning platform for all. I would say, Shabanaji, I would say, for 2025, I would say Maven tagline should be love all, serve all, and learning is for everyone. I don't know whether
Awesome.
you can take. This is just my suggestion as a trainer.
Yeah. Thank you
So
for the suggestion. We will consider how we can put that as well.
yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So
Great.
Dashni, very well
Yes.
presented. Thank you.
Thanks.
Dashni, do you have any last tips to to start the year? Since I asked, since we are here,
Any
better.
tips for 2025?
Yes.
Okay.
One small change that people can do.
I think then one thing what I would tell everyone who's listening to this or who's gonna listen to this later is that uh, start taking care of yourself. The rest will fall in place. It can be your health, it can be your emotional front, it can be any aspect, but start with yourself. That is the one thing or one message I would give to everyone who's listening to this now or who's gonna listen to this later. It can be as small as just going to a salon, or it can be as small as having a consistent sleep routine, or it can be as small as just starting to do something which will take care of your mind as well as your physical body. That is something you need to start taking care of.
Or it can
That's
be being with your favorite people, right? Mm.
exactly, it can be as small as anything like that, but majorly what is important is that you need to start, you need to see what works for you and start doing that small things, because that is what is gonna bring a huge change. As someone rightly said that a single drop of water can create a bigger ocean. So let that single drop start with ourselves, and yourself should be your first priority,
Uh,
and the rest
like
comes
they
later.
said, if I may add, like they said, I went for empowerment series. They said that let let yourself be your own best friend, because no one knows
What I
you
would
better
give a
than yourself.
message.
So I'm trying to live my life with laughter and joy, and I am thankful for Mavin platform. So hopefully I can be, of course, Nupurji played an important role in 2024. I mean, I hope,
I think self-awareness is the motto for 25.
yeah, self-awareness and everything else is really ultimately the goal. And ultimately, I should be thankful to all trainers at Mavin, all trainers that, uh, with or without Mavin, all trainers inside or outside Mavin who shaped my life to be a better person.
Awesome.
And every day you're working on yourself. Every day you're a work in progress every day. Yeah. So no one is perfect. 2025 and 2026 will be a better year for me. Physically, mentally, spiritually, and already I am joining as many physical sessions that I can, con- conducting them. Conducting them is a very joyful thing for me. People might say, hey, why are you conducting so many talk shows, so many? But I feel there is a joy. And alongside with my caregivers who care so much about me and who give me New Year gifts, I'm very blessed to have them. This is a miracle from my caregivers. So, with this on every day, consider is a life changing and everything. Hopefully, it doesn't go off. Yeah, so
Yeah. It's like a crown.
no, it's like a princess crown. Last year, my sister gave me the crown on the ice cream cake. So this year,
Yeah.
um, everyone else is busy. So
Awesome.
cake,
Let's hope this gets better and better. Crown.
yeah, Brett. I mean, hopefully they will have another Miss Amazing, so I can win another title. I
Awesome.
might be able to train women as and if I may say I can mention your name and Dashini's name in my book.
Awesome.
I'll post it to Nupuji as well. It is called Beacon of Light.
Wow.
Now everyone should consider themselves. I feel that everyone should consider themselves beacon of light. When you consider yourself beacon of light, then you have made the lasting first and last impression.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Take
Thank you,
care.
Darshini. A very, apt
Thank you.
session to end the year and to start the new year with more of
Yeah.
self-care and self-awareness. That is what all consciously positive is also about.
Yeah. And reminder to ourselves is to be more consciously positive as the as the team goes. So keep on this program and keep on inspiring, and I hope
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
see you guys tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
So wishing you all a very happy new year and see you in the new year now. Thank you.